You hear a little squeak, maybe the steering wheel starts shaking when you brake, and the next thing you know a shop hands you a quote for pads and rotors that makes you think, no chance I'm touching that myself. That's where a lot of people stop. They assume brakes are one of those scary jobs only a pro should do. But here's the thing, for a lot of everyday cars, changing your own brakes and rotors is way more manageable than it looks. A lot of people pay hundreds for this job, and honestly, it's usually way simpler than people expect if you've got basic tools, a little patience, and you take safety seriously. If you like practical car advice that saves money, subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of repair that can keep cash in your pocket. Brakes and rotors wear out normally. That's their job. Every time you slow down, the pads press against the rotor and create friction, and over time both parts get thinner and more worn. So when your brakes start squeaking, grinding, pulsing, or the car feels shaky under braking, it doesn't automatically mean something catastrophic happened. A lot of times it just means the parts have done their job and it's time to replace them. That's why this repair matters. You're not fixing some mysterious engine problem. You're swapping out wear items. The part that scares beginners is usually not the repair itself. It's the idea of lifting the car and taking brake parts apart. And that's exactly where you slow down and do it right. Park on a flat surface, set the parking brake if you're working on the front, chock the wheels that stay on the ground, crack the lug nuts loose before lifting the car, then raise it and support it securely with jack stands. Not just the jack, never just the jack. Once the wheel is off, most people are surprised by how simple everything suddenly looks. Now you're staring at the brake assembly, and this is where the job starts feeling real. You've got the caliper, the pads, the bracket, and the rotor. Usually the caliper comes off with a couple bolts, and once it's loose, don't let it hang by the brake hose. Support it with a hook, wire, or even rest it safely so there's no strain on that hose. That part scares beginners, but it's actually not bad once you see it in person. Then the old pads come out. After that, depending on the car, you may need to remove the caliper bracket so the rotor can come off. Sometimes the rotor slides right off. Sometimes it's stuck from rust and needs a few solid taps to break loose. And this is the crazy part. This job is usually more intimidating than difficult. Most people realize halfway through that they could have done this years ago. Before the new parts go on, take a minute and clean things up. This matters more than people think. Clean the rotor mounting surface on the hub so the new rotor sits flat. Clean the bracket where the pads slide. If your car uses hardware clips, replace them if the new pads include them. A tiny bit of proper brake grease on the pad contact points and slide points can help things move smoothly, but keep grease far away from the pad's surface and rotor face. Clean installation matters because sloppy brake work causes noise, uneven wear, and headaches later. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying every brake job is effortless. Some cars have stubborn bolts, seized parts, or electronic parking brake systems in the rear. And some rear caliper pistons don't just press straight in, they actually have to be turned in with the right tool. That's one of those moments where you don't force anything. If it doesn't seem right, stop and check your service info. But for many cars, this is one of the best DIY repairs to learn. One step you really want to pay attention to is compressing the caliper piston. The new pads are thicker, so the piston has to go back in to make room. Usually that's done slowly with a caliper tool or a C-clamp. Go slowly. Don't rush it. Keep an eye on the brake fluid reservoir too, because as the piston retracts, fluid can rise. Once the piston is back, reinstall the bracket if you removed it, put the new pads in place, swing the caliper back over, and tighten everything properly. And yes, this is where torque specs matter. Tight enough is not a real spec on brakes. Once both sides are back together, reinstall the wheels, snug the lug nuts, lower the car, and torque the lugs correctly. Before you move the car, pump the brake pedal until it gets firm. Don't skip that. If you just throw it in gear and roll, the pedal can go low on the first press because the caliper pistons haven't seated yet. And this next step is where paying attention really matters. Start with a slow test drive in a safe area. Make sure the pedal feels normal, the car stops straight, and nothing sounds wrong. After that, bed the brakes in. That just means a series of controlled stops to help the new pads and rotors mate properly. Not panic stops, not racing around, just a few moderate stops and then some cooling time. The satisfying part is, you immediately feel the difference when driving. The car feels smoother, more solid, and you know you did that yourself. If you've ever changed your own brakes before, let me know how it went. And if you haven't, hopefully you can see why this job isn't magic. It's careful, mechanical work. That's different from complicated. The big takeaway is simple. Brake and rotor jobs look scarier than they really are. Safety matters more than speed. Patience matters more than experience, and learning repairs like this can save you a huge amount of money over time. Subscribe if you want more beginner-friendly DIY car repairs explained simply. Because once you handle a job like this, basic maintenance starts feeling a whole lot less intimidating.